8:12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for the third part of it, and the night likewise. What he's describing is seeing another missile take off, and as it did, it made the sky dark. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and upon them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. Remember that John is describing what he sees. Do some helicopters often look like locusts? What would it look like if you saw 600 of these helicopters flying around? Would it not look like a cloud of locusts? Consider, write down a description of an AH-64 helicopter for someone to read in 2,000 years from now. Try it. John knew that locusts would be here in 2,000 years from his time. I find this brilliant because the resemblance between locust and the AH-64 helicopter is striking, an amazing resemblance. Revelation 9:4. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. What John is describing, John describes that orders are given as to who to kill and destroy and who not to kill. That is what's in Revelation 9:4. Revelation 9:7. And the shapes of these locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were like crowns of gold, and on their faces like the faces of men. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings were as the sound of chariots of many horses running into battle. I find this absolutely amazing. If you were in the 1800s, this would have meant nothing to you. You could not possibly have understood what he was talking about. But if you look at some of these helicopters, that's exactly what they look like. The description is astoundingly accurate. Revelation 9:10. As they had their tails like scorpions, and they were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Is this the beast that John is talking about? If so, we know we are in that time frame because he saw these things. It is my understanding that anti-missile rockets are fired from the rear of helicopters, and if he were to see that in his time, that's exactly how he would describe it. They look like scorpions. Revelation 9:14, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Well, this is amazing. Note that the helicopters have a speaker system, like a bullhorn. How would John describe this in his day? He describes missiles being launched from the Euphrates River, which goes through Baghdad, as I understand it. Loosed means launch. So what he's talking about is missiles being launched from the Euphrates River. 9:15. And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, to slay the third part of men. This is some type of doomsday missile, probably launched by some sort of submarine from the Euphrates River. If he saw that, how would he describe it? He would call them angels being loosed. Today we would say missiles being launched, because today we know what that is. In his day, he was just trying to describe what he saw. 9:17. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and on them sat having breastplates of fire and of jasmine and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. Again, John describes land-based vehicles. If he had seen an army tank with a cannon and a flamethrower, how would he describe that? He would describe it exactly as you read in 9:17. 9:19. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and their heads, and with them they do hurt. John describes, again, AH-64 shooting rockets. Do rockets look like they have heads and tails? They certainly do. And if you saw a rocket, how would you describe it? Exactly the way John described it in his day, with the words that he had and the language and things that he was familiar with. Revelation 10:1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. Now, if you saw a rocket landing, how would you describe it? You would describe it as exactly as he did in 10:1. 10:7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants and prophets. This one matches much of what's in the third secret of Fatima. On the day of knowing all, it's sometimes referred to as rapture. We will know for sure the truth of these things when that day comes. Revelation 10:11. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. At that time, the whole world is going to know the truth. 11:18. And the nations were angry, and their wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants and prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, and small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. John is describing rich people who have destroyed the planet's environment just to make money. Those people oppose God. And that's exactly what 11:18 is describing. Consider if you were very wealthy and had made a lot of money making bombs and weapons, the return of God would not be something you'd be in favor of. So you join with other people who have done the same thing to go to war against God.